Hello everyone, this is Meenakshi Birari, working as a assistant professor in chemistry at Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samaj, Nasik. Today I am going to start the new chapter of physical chemistry, that is phase equilibrium. In today's lecture, we will study some basic terms and definitions. In this, we will study some topics like definitions of phases, components and degrees of freedom of a system, stability of phases, criteria of phase equilibrium, Gibbs phase rule and its thermodynamic derivation. We will study phase diagrams of one component systems, for example water, carbon dioxide and sulfur systems. Also, we will study some numericals related to phase equilibrium. So, all these topics we will study in detail one by one. First of all, we will study about phase equilibrium and some definitions. First, that is phase equilibrium. What is phase equilibrium? Phase equilibrium is the study of the equilibrium which exists between or within different states of matter, namely solid, liquid and gas. We know that there are three states of matter which are solid, liquid and gas. They are known as phases and all the three states are interconvertible. During physical transformation of one phase into another, temperature always remains constant. Therefore, there exists sort of equilibrium between two phases during melting of solid, boiling of liquid, liquefaction of gas, freezing of liquid and vaporization of solid. All these are called phase equilibria. So, when we try to change pressure or temperature, this equilibrium is shifted. In this chapter, we are going to study the effect of temperature and pressure on phase equilibria. Equilibrium is defined as a stage when chemical potential, that is molar free energy of any component present in the system, stays steady with time. That is called equilibrium. A system is at equilibrium if its free energy is a minimum under some specified combinations of temperature, pressure and composition. That is, under conditions of a constant temperature, pressure and composition, the direction of any spontaneous change is towards a lower free energy. Then the phase equilibrium diagram is a useful tool to visualize phase behavior. Phase equilibrium is a theoretical condition where the solids, liquids and vapors have reached certain pressure and temperature conditions at which they can separate. So, in this chapter, we will study about the effect of temperature and pressure on phase equilibria or physical equilibria. There are three states of matter, that are solid, liquid and gas. They are interconvertible and these are known as phases. During physical transformation of one phase into another, temperature always remains constant. Therefore, there exists sort of equilibrium between two phases during melting of solid, boiling of liquid, liquefaction of gas or freezing of liquid. Many material systems and alloy systems exist in more than one phases depending on the conditions of temperature, pressure and composition. Each phase will have different microstructure which is related to the mechanical properties. The development of microstructure is related to the characteristics of phase diagrams. Thus, the knowledge and understanding of the phase diagrams is very important for chemists and for engineers. Proper knowledge and understanding of phase diagrams will lead to design and control of heating procedures for developing the required microstructure and properties. In this also we have to study about phase rule. Before the phase rule is stated, it is necessary to get familiar with the terminologies involved in the phase rule. So we will study some basic definitions which are related to the phase rule and phase equilibrium. First of all, what is phase? Phase, it is a form of matter which is uniform throughout in chemical composition and physical state. For example, a system containing only liquid water is one phase system. A system containing water and water vapor, that is gas, is a two phase system. Then a system containing liquid, water, water vapor and solid ice is a three phase system. Pure substances having solid, liquid or gas phase made of one chemical species only is considered as one phase. Then what is about system? System, that is thermodynamically, is an isolated body of matter which is under study. A substance or group of substances so isolated from its surroundings, that is totally unaffected by the surroundings, but changes in its overall composition, temperature, pressure or total volume can be allowed as per the desire of the person who investigate it. A system may contain solids, liquids, gases or their combination. It may have metals, non-metals separately or in combined form. So, a system in connection with the phase rule is defined as a substance or a mixture of substances which is isolated in some way from other substances. We want to study the effect of pressure, temperature and the characteristic properties of the other constituents of a system on the physical states of the material present. For example, by water system we mean the chemical substance water, which has been isolated from all the other substances in the system. This will enable us to investigate the effect of changes in pressure and temperature on the various phases of water. System is defined as any portion of the universe under study. It is also defined as a substance or mixture of substances which is isolated in some way from other substances. Example, we can take water system, sulfur system, etc. And a system may contain solids, liquids, gases or their combination. It may have metals, non-metals separately or in combined form. Then a phase. Phase is defined as an homogeneous, physically distinct and mechanically separable portion of system which is separated from other such parts of the system by definite boundary surfaces. For example, at freezing point, water consists of three phases. What are that? That may be ice which is available in solid state, then water in liquid form and water vapor that is in gaseous state. So, ice, water and water vapor, these are in equilibrium. At freezing point, water exists in three phases. These are solid, liquid and gases. A gaseous mixture being thoroughly miscible in all proportions will constitute one phase only. Thus a mixture of N2 and H2 forms one phase only. If two liquids are immiscible, for example benzene and water, they will form two separate phases. If two liquids are miscible, for example ethanol and water, they will form one liquid phase only. Here the word phase is derived from a Greek word having the meaning appearance. So it is defined as a homogeneous part of a system, that is physically distinct and mechanically separable part of the system. The phase is well separated from the other parts of the system by definite bound surfaces. The term mechanically separable should be clearly understood. The term involves such operations as handpicking of crystals by shape, filtration, separation of two liquids by separating funnel, or any such operations which can be carried out without interfering with temperature, pressure, or composition of the phases. The term therefore excludes such operations like fractional distillation, solvent extraction, or vacuum distillation because all these operations involve changes in pressure or temperature or composition. Here consider the example. For example, this one, ice is in equilibrium with water, which is equilibrium with water vapor. Here the system consists of three phases, namely ice, liquid and gas or vapor. To decide the number of phases in a given system, the number of generalizations may be used. What are that? First thing, every solid in the system constitutes a separate phase. Second one liquid layer constitutes one phase. The liquid may be pure or may be solution of one liquid in the other. Two immiscible liquids in contact form two phases as a definite surface separates the two. Here we have taken this example. If two liquids are immiscible, benzene plus water, they will form two separate phases. Then third thing, gases are completely miscible, hence the mixture of several gases constitutes a single phase, so that N2 and H2 forms one phase only. Here gaseous mixture being thoroughly miscible in all proportions will constitute one phase only. Then few other examples like a solution of a substance in a solvent consists of one phase only. For example, glucose solution in water having one phase only. Then each solid makes up a separate phase except in the case of solid solutions. Example, many forms of sulfur can exist together, but these are all separate phases. And the example of heterogeneous mixture like calcium carbonate, which is solid, that gives calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide, which consists of three phases, that is two solids and one gaseous. Here the number of phases in this example is 3. Number of phases, these are 3, that is 2 solids and 1 gaseous. Then next, that is Fe in solid form plus water, that gives FeO plus H2. There are 2 solid phases, Fe and FeO, and 1 gaseous phase consisting of water and H2. Thus 3 phases exist in equilibrium. Then homogeneous solid solution of a salt constitutes a single phase. For example, Mohr's salt, that is the formulae of Mohr's salt, FeSO4, NH4 twice, SO4, 6H2O. These 6H2O, these are nothing but water of crystallization. So that is the formulae for Mohr's salt that exists in a solution, so that it constitutes a single phase. Then the next term, that is component. Component, it is defined as minimum number of chemically independent species which are required to express the composition of all the phases present in the system. For example, water system has 3 phases and the composition of all these phases is expressed in one chemical formula, hence one component only. Then the second example, sulfur system, it has 4 phases. These are rhombic sulfur, monoclinic sulfur, liquid sulfur and sulfur vapor. And the composition of all these phases is expressed by one chemical individual. Therefore, sulfur system is one component system. The composition of all the phases in a system can be completely described in terms of the components. So it can be defined as the minimum number of independently variable and chemically distinct constituents necessary to describe the composition of each phase of the system. The composition of each phase may be described directly or indirectly in the form of algebraic equations. In expressing the compositions of different phases of the system in terms of algebraic equation, zero or negative coefficients of different constituents of the system may be used. In equation, the constituents of the system may be used. In the equation, the constituents is to be used only once. By the term component, that is meant the smallest number of independent variable constituents which are taking part in the state of equilibrium, by means of which the composition of each phase can be expressed in the form of chemical equation. For example, if we take water system, in that ice is in equilibrium with water and water is in equilibrium with vapor, that is solid, liquid and gas. These are in dynamic equilibrium. The chemical composition of all the three phases is water, that is H2O. Hence, it is one component system. Then the sulfur system consists of four phases: rhombic, monoclinic, liquid and vapor. The chemical composition of all phases is sulfur. Hence, it is one component system. So, component alternatively can be defined as the number of components of a system. These are the minimum number of molecular species in terms of which the composition of all the phases may be quantitatively expressed. To decide the number of components of a system, the different questions may be asked, that is, what is the smallest number of substances that are involved in making up independently each phase of the system? So consider this example: ice, water and vapor which are in equilibrium. The composition of each phase can be expressed completely using only one chemical substance, namely water, H2O. The system is one component system. And the second example, sulfur system. Here also the composition, chemical composition of all phases having sulfur. Hence, it is also one component system. Then the thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate. Here the equilibrium reaction occurring in that system. Calcium carbonate gives calcium oxide plus CO2, carbon dioxide. The system consists of three phases in state of equilibrium. Any two of the three chemical substances can be chosen to express the composition of each and every phase present in the system. This phase, calcium carbonate, can be imagined to be made up of calcium oxide and CO2. The phase calcium oxide and CO2 are chosen as the components of the system. Then the composition of each phase can be expressed by using the different equations. Here the composition of each of the three phases can be expressed in terms of at least any two of the independently variable constituents, so that CaCO3 will be CaCO3 plus 0 moles of calcium oxide. Then calcium oxide, 0 moles of calcium carbonate plus calcium oxide. Like that, number of equations to express the system composition of each phase can be expressed. Here it is a two component system. Then a system in which ammonium chloride undergoes thermal composition. Ammonium chloride gives ammonia and HCl. There are two phases, one solid ammonium chloride and the other gas, a mixture of NH3 and HCl. There are three constituents. Since NH3 and HCl can be prepared in the correct stoichiometric proportions by the reaction, that is NH4Cl by NH3 plus HCl. The composition of both the solid and gaseous phase can be expressed in terms of NH4Cl. Hence, the number of components is 1. If additional HCl or NH3 were added to the system, then the decomposition of NH4Cl would not give the correct composition of the gas phase, and a second component, that is HCl or NH3, would be needed to describe the gas phase. So from this example, from dissociation of ammonium chloride, equimolar mixture of gaseous ammonia and HCl is formed. If X fraction out of 1 mole of NH4Cl dissociates, the composition of NH4Cl will be 1 minus X, while that of NH3 and HCl will be X mole of each. Thus, the composition of all phases can be expressed in terms of one chemical substance, and hence the system is one component system. Suppose in the equilibrium mixture some quantity of gaseous HCl added, then some fraction of 1 mole of NH4Cl that dissociates and gives the composition of gaseous ammonia, and the composition of HCl should be known to know the composition of all the phases. Hence, the system now becomes a two component system, the two components being NH4Cl and HCl. We can also take the example of saturated solution of copper sulfate. So, number of components of a system may alternatively be defined as the number of chemical constituents of the system minus the number of equations relating to those constituents in an equilibrium state. For example, twice KClO3 solid, twice KCl solid plus thrice O2 gaseous. Here the number of constituents can be given by this K equilibrium is equal to concentration of KCl square, concentration of oxygen raised to 3, KClO3 raised to 2 is equal to concentration of oxygen raised to 3. Here the number of components is equal to number of constituents minus number of equations relating the concentration of constituents. Alternatively, number of components of system is defined as the number of chemical constituents of the system minus the number of equations relating to those constituents in an equilibrium state. Then degrees of freedom or variance. The phase rule is concerned with the intensive properties of a system in a state of equilibrium. These variables are independent of the quantity of the substance that make up the system and its size. The pressure, temperature, concentration, density, molar entropy are all intensive variables. So, the degrees of freedom or variance, that is the minimum number of intensive variables which must be fixed in order to define the remaining intensive variables of the system. Degrees of freedom or variance of a system is defined as the minimum number of variables such as temperature, pressure, concentration, which must be arbitrarily fixed in order to define the system completely. Or the minimum number of intensive variables or the smallest number of intensive variables such as temperature, pressure and concentration that can be changed independently without disturbing the number of phases in equilibrium. For example, state of pure gas may be described by any two of the three variables pressure, temperature and density if any two known third can be calculated. Hence, it has 2 degrees of freedom called bivariant system. Then univariant, in which water and water vapor are in one system. If all phases of water exist in equilibrium, no condition needs to be specified as the phase can coexist only at particular temperature and pressure. This system has no degrees of freedom, hence that is called invariant system. So the assignment of numerical values of freedom will enable us to describe the system completely at equilibrium. The system with degrees of freedom 0, 1, 2, 3 are called non-variant, monovariant, bivariant, trivariant system respectively. For a given mass of a gas, its volume, pressure and temperature are related by the equation, that is ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. For such a system, the values of pressure and temperature can be varied independently. Therefore, the volume take place that depends on the values of pressure and temperature, and the system, therefore it is a bivariant system. That means it has 2 degrees of freedom, called as bivariant system. So F, or that is called as the degrees of freedom variance, the number of attributes of a system where temperature, pressure and phase composition constant that can be changed independently without creating or destroying a phase, or number of parameters that need to be described to completely define the composition and identity of each phase. So degrees of freedom, when it is 3, it is called trivariant, 2 divariant, 1 univariant, 0 invariant. Consider the system which consists of a liquid in equilibrium with its vapor. The temperature of this system can be varied independently, and the value of temperature will fix the value of the vapor pressure of the liquid. The system therefore has a degrees of freedom of 1, that is it is monovariant system. Finally, consider the system in which 3 phases of water, namely water and its vapor, coexist in a state of equilibrium, that is ice is in equilibrium with water, water is in equilibrium with water vapor. This occurs only at a particular pressure and particular temperature. Thus, when we say that the 3 phases of water coexist in equilibrium, the system becomes non-variant and the degrees of freedom of such a system is 0. In a chemically reactive system, the number of components, that is C, it can be calculated by C is equal to N minus E, where capital N is the number of chemical species, E is the number of independent equations relating the concentrations of the N species. So we know that the number of components or constituents, and E, that is the number of independent equations relating their concentration by the equation, that is C is equal to N minus E. So from that we can calculate the number of components of the system. So in today's lecture we have studied some terminologies which are important to study the phase rule. In next lecture we will study about phase rule. Thank you.